Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're looking at a bride who made a profit off her bachelorette trip. That's just my business. I'm kidding. With friends like these, who needs anemones? So much tea! Oh girl, spill it, spill it. I'm glad I can spill to my Reddit community because I can't gossip about it to my family. We're your family now. About 6 months ago, the bride planned her destination bachelorette trip and charged each of the girls, 11 of them, $650 for the Airbnb. How long was that stay? I was salty about the high cost, but it's my sister-in-law, so I sucked it up and paid her. I was also suspicious about the high as price, so I did cross-check the Airbnb listing and it checked out. Yes, this bee wanted a $2,300 a night beachfront house. Well, today I'm chatting about wedding stuff with my brother, who is marrying future sister-in-law. And he said something along the lines of, what a relief her dad paid for the Airbnb because that would have been so expensive for your group. I about choked. I said, hey, are you sure about that? Because all 11 girls paid $650 for the house alone. Maybe run it by her. His face turned purple, so I take it he had no idea. To add to the greed going on here, when I got married, I flew her out, paid for her accommodations, paid hair and makeup, paid for her bridesmaid's dress, paid transportation because she was going through a hard time. Now she has the balls to steal from me. I get that weddings are expensive, but don't have one if it requires stealing from your bridesmaids. I'm assuming I'm the only bridesmaid who's aware of what's going on here and not sure if I should spill to the group or just let it go. There is a chance her dad stepped in and paid for it after the fact and she just chose not to refund us. I'm not clear on the exact situation and want to avoid embarrassing my brother. Update number 1. Thanks for all the advice and support. Yes, I agree with most of you who are saying I'm morally obligated to spill the beans because $650 is not child's play. This is what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to talk to my brother and give him a chance to clear it up with sister-in-law before I make a scene. Before I make a scene, I want to understand what's really going on. For example, did daddy pay for the trip but sister-in-law decided to put that toward different wedding expenses? Things like that. That answer will determine when and how I tell the rest of the bridesmaids. I'm gonna give my brother only 1 to 2 days because this trip is literally next week. Stay tuned for update number 2. So I regrouped with my brother. My mom also stepped in, bypassed by my brother, and got some more info directly from her dad. Here's the tea. Future sister-in-law's dad did not offer to cover the cost until a few months after we all paid for the trip. This was after he found out the cost and was pissed that she chose a $2,300 a night house and asked us to pay. Apparently, he threatened not to pay for the wedding if she added more expenses onto the wedding party. Turns out she originally wanted it at the Maldives and he forbid her. According to my mom, who chatted with him directly, he felt embarrassed when he heard about the Airbnb price and wanted to save face with my side of the family. So he gave sister-in-law about $7,000 to cover the cost of this house. She was supposed to refund us, but obviously that never happened. This is where it gets good. This is where it gets good. My gosh. So my mom went total FBI and learned that in addition to not paying us, sister-in-law didn't put the money toward a different wedding expense either. She doesn't have it. So where did it go? What did she spend it on? There is currently a full-blown investigation going down between our two families right now. I have been asked by my mom not to alert the baby mama's bridesmaids just yet until we get the last bits of info and come to a resolution with both sister-in-law and her dad. But we will tell them ASAP one way or another. Update number 3. The plot thickens. So as this drama is all unfolding, the maid of honor, who doesn't know what's going on yet, is continuing her duties. We get a 4-paragraph text from her outlining the dress code for each night of the bachelorette, per the bride's orders. Keep in mind, the bride is asking us to go all out and buy new outfits for each night of the trip. Oh, jeez. And the themes are wild. Animal print Thursday, faux fur Friday, sparkle dress Saturday, and Barbie brunch Sunday. As if we're all gonna go out and buy that stuff 1 week before the trip or at all. Thankfully, the bridesmaids seem to be waking up to the BS. Several of them wrote back saying they won't be able to pull together those outfits in time and flat out said it's not going to happen. But that is just a side story to the absolute show that is unfolding. My mom is very much involved now as she's paid a decent chunk of this wedding as well and does not like that the bride is throwing around thousands of dollars from her dad as well as lying to the bridal party. She set up a meeting directly with sister-in-law to cut the BS and explain what's going on. She told sister-in-law she's going to inform the baby mamas herself unless she gets a valid answer. closer. At this point, I'm just shoveling down popcorn, waiting for the events to unfold. I will be back tonight with hopefully the final update. Update number 4. She used the $7,000 to book a swan-shaped ice sculpture to be displayed at the reception and didn't tell anyone. Turns out her dad banned her from adding any more extras to the wedding design because it was already so expensive and unnecessary. When he Venmo'd her for the Airbnb, she thought she was being sneaky and kept it instead. She didn't even tell my brother this. He only found out that her dad decided to cover the Airbnb because those two went out for cigars one night and it came up. So that mystery is solved thanks to my mini FBI crew, but now the real questions remain. Where the hell is my $650 and how to break the news to the bridesmaids? Out of the kindness of her soul, my mom is giving sister-in-law 24 hours to confess to the bridesmaids and figure out how to pay us back our money. Because you know what? I did not spend $650 on some damn ice. I have kids to feed. I have bills to pay. That's what's up, babes. It is taking everything in me not to text the bridesmaids group right now, but my mom is trying to give sister-in-law one opportunity to do the right thing. This has been a roller coaster. I don't know if anyone here is still interested, but let me know if I should post the final outcome with the bridesmaids in the last update. Okay, as promised, here is the last tea served boiling hot. This is a long update, and I'm gonna try and get everything in. First, let's start with the bride's explanation to her family, myself, my mom, my brother, her fiance, and her dad. She broke down crying, saying that wedding planning has been getting to her head, and she's been crushed under the pressure to have the perfect wedding, which she felt couldn't go on without this alleged ice swan. I didn't buy her sob story. After this whole incident, I think she is a delusional, controlling, attention-starving bridezilla who is using the wedding as a way to compete with other girls on Instagram. By the way, her job is an influencer, if I didn't mention that yet. Next, let's get into the matter of the missing $7,000 and whether we're getting our money back. The sad, gut-wrenching answer, probably not. Her dad said he has already paid the Airbnb cost once and he will not do it again. He said his daughter is 31 and needs to get herself out of her own mess and figure out how to make it right. She chimed in that the $7K is gone now and asked how she would possibly pay us back. My brother refused to pay for her screw-up. While I love that everyone is finally forcing this bee to be an adult, I would like my money back more. Unfortunately, we're not gonna get it unless she magically wins the lottery or gets a real job. For those that ask, there's nothing we can do legally. We all willingly paid a fixed amount and we would have to move mountains and spend more money to sue. Plus, while she was incredibly shady and a terrible friend, she technically didn't do anything wrong that we could prove. Now on to the bridesmaids. After some threats from my mom, sister-in-law finally broke down and contacted the bridesmaids in our group chat. She sent a text that made my skin crawl. Ugh.
Hey ladies! You're my bride squad, so I feel compelled to share that my dad recently offered to pay for our batch accommodations. However, being that the wedding is so expensive, I've decided to put his donation toward a wedding expense. I hope you all understand, and I can't wait to party with you all next week.
Oh, hell no! I immediately replied back, making sure everyone knew the expense was an ice sculpture. An ice swan. Come on, people. Many of them replied and expressed how they would have loved to use that $650 for something more important. But ultimately, no one has backed out. One of the girls started a side chat without the bride and asked if there's any chance of us getting our money back if we force sister-in-law to cancel the reservation. Unfortunately, since we're only a week out, we aren't eligible for a refund. They decided to go through with the batch or else it would be a literal waste of $650. As for myself, I'm in the same boat. I'd rather run myself over than go on this trip, but $650 is not a small amount and I can't fathom just throwing it down the drain. I haven't made my final decision yet. If I do go, it will solely be to avoid eating the $650 plus my airfare. I will not be doing any of the planned events or outfits or contributing even $1 more. I would have my own mini vacation as best I can. I'm really upset that it seems like this crazy person is gonna get her way after all. There are so many curious comments coming in. I wanted to keep you in the loop. More drama has unfolded among the bridesmaids. The side text without the bride popped off and we've all agreed to do the following. We will be going on the trip, but it is no longer a bachelorette trip. We will all be taking personal vacations with our hubbies / significant others while staying at the property. We were forced into this beachfront mansion, plus airfare, so we're gonna make the most of it. We've all backed out of hosting and paying for the bridal shower. The bride will need to find another way to move forward if she wants to have it. We will attend as guests if she has it, and we will not be gifting anything. Mother of the bride is absolutely furious. More on this later. We're letting the bride know she needs to cancel the ice swan and give us our money back. After some more research, we doubt all of the $7K went toward the alleged swan because it doesn't seem like they cost that much. I won't be back for a while because I want to save my next update for after the trip. Stay tuned. Final update number 6. Warning, this is a long one. Let me start with this. There never was an ice swan. It was all an elaborate fabrication designed to distract everyone from where the missing $7,000 actually went. Rest in peace, ice swan. Turns out, there was a reason behind sister-in-law's luxury bachelorette location. Here's what happened. All the bridesmaids show up to the beachfront mansion with our significant others. Sister-in-law has already been made aware that it was no longer a bachelorette. But to our complete shock, she was still stunned that we actually meant it. She arrived last in her pre-booked limo, absolutely fuming that no one else showed up to the limo meeting spot at the airport. She was the only one still sticking to the original itinerary. Then she was flabbergasted that the husbands and significant others were with us. It was a comedy show at best. Oh, brother. Anyway, we went about our individual mini vacations, and eventually someone realized it had been about 48 hours since anyone had seen sister-in-law. I assumed she was mad and either flew home or went to stay somewhere else. Then the unthinkable unfolds. Sister-in-law rolls up the driveway in a wheelchair, being pushed by 2 female nurses. The entire group just jumped into action thinking something horrible happened. Everyone ran over to see what was going on, but the nurses ushered us away and wheeled sister-in-law into her room. At this point, I'm actually very concerned. We're all banging on her door and asking if she's okay. The nurses eventually leave and say they legally can't reveal the nature of her health issue, but assure us she's fine. I call my brother and mom, but I get no answer, so I finally decide to call her mom, aka the mother of the bride, who was furious that we took over the bachelorette party. Mother of the bride reveals what actually took place. She isn't sick, she didn't have a health issue, there was no accident, she got her boobs done. Yes, folks, you read that correctly. She had planned, as part of the original itinerary, to disappear for an afternoon and return with a new set of melons. The location of the beachfront mansion is conveniently 5 minutes away from a very famous cosmetic surgeon's office. The reason she needed this giant property was not to really host 11 girls. It was to host 11 girls plus the surgery recovery nurses and personal chef she reserved for after the operation. There is so much more that we need to unpack. I honestly don't know where to begin. What was her mother's knowledge involvement in all of this? What was the cost of the procedure? Guessing around $7,000, and why was it meant to be a part of the batch? What was the purpose of the ice swan lie? What the f***? Will the bridesmaids, myself included, pursue legal action? Where does this leave my brother? Is this lady okay mentally? Was this a horribly misplaced cry for attention? Was it an FU to the bridesmaids somehow? So many questions remain. I'm only a few hours back from this trip, so this is all the information I have right now. I was intending for this to be my final update, and I just want to say thank you for all your support, advice, bags of popcorn, and funny input. This has been a wild ride, and I'm glad I could share it with you. So far, we've had this crazy idea picked up by a news publication, multiple podcasts, and a magazine. I literally want to write a book about this experience. I've already revealed a great deal of info to protect my brother's privacy moving forward. I think I need to step away from the updates at this point, but we're divorcing her. That is some crazy shit. For those of you who are this delulu, don't do this.
Get some help.
You're gonna lose all your friends. You're gonna create some serious trust issues, and you're probably gonna lose your husband. Like, I would be very, very surprised, OP, if your brother still marries this person. Because, like, what the actual is wrong with you? Honestly, sue her if you can. Get a lawyer up. Unacceptable. I know this isn't an Am I the A-hole, but that bride, she a massive gaping black hole of an a-hole.